Everyone's talking about Yi Shungguang right now, but I think we're about to watch history repeat itself if we're not careful. Because while all the attention is elsewhere, Zhao is quietly shaping up to be one of the most important characters Zenless has released so far. She's a free S rank in 2.5, she's a defense unit in a class people have already written off, and for a lot of players, that combination immediately raises red flags. But after going through her kit from the live stream, I genuinely think skipping investing in her would be a massive mistake. So today, I want to break down exactly why Zhao isn't just good for a free unit, but a must-build agent that could completely change how your account performs going into version 2.5 and beyond. When you really step back and look at Zhao, it becomes obvious that the Ice Defense label barely tells the full story. She's the first limited ice unit in the defense role, but the way her kit is structured makes her feel far closer to a premium enabler than a traditional tank. Instead of demanding field time or playing around shields alone, her design clearly pushes her into a hybrid role that blends support and utility, which already sets her apart from what we normally expect out of defense characters. At the core of her gameplay is her Frostbite gauge, and that resource dictates almost everything she does. Once it's fully charged, swapping Zhao in immediately activates her entry skill, Burst of Frost, which triggers Ether Veil, spreads buffs across the entire team, and sets up a quick assist so you can instantly transition back to your main DPS. We don't have the exact buff values yet, but by the way it looks, it suggests that she's providing offensive bonuses like attack and crit, which is a huge deal for a unit that's technically labeled as defense. Her additional ability only asks for an attack, anomaly, or support unit, which essentially means she fits into almost any functional lineup in the game. That design choice feels deliberate, like the developers are finally addressing the long-standing issue with the defense class by letting units like Zhao function as true enablers rather than awkward frontliners, making her especially valuable for players who may have missed previous limited supports such as Astra or Lucia. By the looks of it, you generally want her off-field while Frostbite builds naturally. Then you bring her in once it's ready to trigger her buffs, chain a quick assist, and immediately hand control back to your carry. Her hold basic attack reinforces this loop by applying buffs and enabling assists, while her EX special attack adds another layer of value by consuming a portion of her own HP to provide healing over time for the team, giving her meaningful sustain without forcing you to run a dedicated healer. Overall, when you look at the full picture, Zhao ends up doing a little bit of everything. She contributes off-field damage, boosts team performance through buffs, provides healing and survivability, and smooths out rotations by enabling quick assists. That's why, despite her classification, she plays much more like a high-tier support similar to Lucia, just with extra defensive utility. I think what makes this even more exciting is how accessible she is. A free, powerful, easy-to-use tank support doesn't come around often, and once players actually get hands-on time with her, I think she's going to feel borderline indispensable. Even later on, when she's no longer free, her value remains extremely high unless you genuinely dislike her playstyle. And the fact that her first copy costs nothing also makes chasing early mindscapes, or even more importantly, her weapon, far more appealing for players who enjoy optimizing their builds. So yeah, the more you dig into Zhao, the harder it is to see her as just another defense unit, because she feels like one of those characters that quietly changes how you approach team building the moment you actually play her. Between the buffs, the sustain, the flexibility, and how smoothly she slots into almost any lineup, she's shaping up to be a massive win for version 2.5 and an easy pickup for most accounts. I'm really curious to see how people end up using her once the patch goes live, so let me know what teams you're planning to run and whether you think she's going to shake up the meta the way I do. If you found this breakdown helpful, I've got more coverage coming as we get closer to 2.5, so stick around for that, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.